Hello again, and welcome back to the Friendly, now in bracket stages. Today we will be watching Grif face LowKey and Flarolyn face Artemis. I am joined by the illustrious Dutch, trainer of the possibly most productive Pokemon in all of the Swiss stage Hawlucha. Welcome, Dutch.
Thank you for having me, Wrench. How is everything tonight?
Things are going well. I'm gonna watch some Pokemon games with a friend of mine, and we're gonna say silly things over the track.
And I hope you don't mind that I'm going to be completely biased in both of these matches, just not that I have any animosity whatsoever for losing to Grif.
Oh no, I can't imagine that you have any reason to want to see him fail, or that Greninja with its water shuriken get blown up, or anything like that.
Yep, no reason whatsoever that I want that shuriken to accidentally trip and impale its owner.
No, I can imagine that being the case, but that's a wonderful segue into our first match. We have Grif's Dragon and Water Squad facing off into LowKey's Dragon and Ghost Squad. Grif has been kind of a titan in this tournament, I would say.
Well, he's definitely got some weaknesses that were exposed in the match against me. However, I just wasn't able to capitalize on it as effectively as need be.
I can see what you mean. Dragon to Dragon is always an interesting matchup because whoever decides to have the Dragon moves go off can really outplay the other, but if the switching becomes a problem, you may just end up losing everything.
Right. If you're switching an opportune time, you're allowing your opponent to get a free shot in, and that free shot could be a Dragon Dance or something, ultra powered up just to take you out in one swipe.
I'm thinking LowKey's Sinistcha could be a power player. Strength Sap is a really interesting move that reduces the attack of an opponent while also healing yourself, so that could be something that really lets it keep itself healthy while weakening the opponent and then forcing them maybe to switch.
Right, and it might not even be something that's going to be a knockout blow, but something that whittles down and keeps him alive long enough to take out something. But I do have to say that while I am not necessarily pleased that he is in the bracket stages, I am rooting for Grif in this one. It's always better to root for the guy who knocked you out than it is to go for an opponent that you know nothing about. I look stronger.
Yeah, if he wins everything, you can say, well, yeah, I only lost because the best person in the tournament beat me, as opposed to, oh, some other schmo beat that guy and then that guy beat me.
But I am interested to see how the Ghost and Water pairing will play a factor in this match.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the off types and how they're used.
Yep.
So you ready to get into this best of three?
I believe I am.
All right, well, let's get started. All right, Dragonite starting out on Grif's side, and there's that Sinistcha.
Dragon Dance starting early. Oh, Strength Sap coming out.
There's that Strength Sap reducing the attack. So,
and again,
ultimately, Dragonite is boosting its speed but doing nothing else. I mean, I guess that's fine. It was already faster than Sinistcha, so it's not meaningfully changing the situation here.
Right. But he's got that 3.5 speed modifier right now.
Yeah. If the Dragonite manages to kill the Sinistcha or force it to swap out, then quite an advantage.
Who knows? This Dragonite might just run itself out of Dragon Dance, and then who knows where we'll be.
So Strength Sap has lower power points than Dragon Dance, so Sinistcha will run out first if they do this eternally.
Which seems like it might be.
Yeah, I mean, we could be here for some time.
There we go. 10 turns and 10 turns and an offensive attack from the Dragonite.
And, well, right back to... Oh, and Sinistcha, Calm Mind.
Nice.
Dragonite now confused. Now at half attack.
Oh, and
it's going to
back up to
Dragon Dance again.
Well, the Shadow Ball, not very effective, but at least we're seeing some offense out of Sinistcha.
And a Spadef drop is going to make it even more effective this time.
Ooh, and there's that Shadow Ball one more time.
And it resists Waterfall pretty well, so Sinistcha in a good spot here, healing up, reducing Gyarados' attack as well.
Yeah. But as we were saying, you might run out of the Strength Sap before too long, so
Yes, that is definitely a possibility, but... Oh, Gyarados lives on about 2%. Gyarados doesn't... Does Grif's team just not have an answer to Sinistcha?
I don't think so. It'll probably be that silly Greninja is going to come out and save the day once more, but, you know.
That's a water type. Machagacha is going to hit it for quite a bit. Ah, Toxic Poison. There you go.
There we go. Now it's just a waiting game until he swaps out.
But LowKey is just... killed 3 with Sinistcha. That's going pretty well.
That is going pretty well for him. Dark Chop, let's see what he can do. Oh, swapped right back out.
Latios.
Oh, resistant on that.
And burned from the... Machagacha is such a good move. It hits both Pokemon if it's a team. It heals the Sinistcha, and it has a chance to burn. It's so
Strength
good.
Sap one more time. Greninja already on the defensive here. But there it is, the super effective Dark Pulse.
And the Battle Bond trigger is going to bring its attack back to normal and speed up as well. Special attack doesn't matter on this Greninja. Goodra is a bit of a wall, though, and Draco Meteor going to kill the Greninja. Things starting to move a little faster now that Sinistcha is dead.
Yeah. And
Garchomp
the
comes
Earthquake, nice counter from the Garchomp.
Absolutely. Good revenge kill. Critical hit doesn't even do half to Delmise.
Oh, that Power Whip, however.
Yes. A little bit of damage from Ruskin, but...
Oh, but an early swap out.
Yeah, not sure about that decision, but an Aqua Jet will be enough.
Yep, was enough.
Priority moves, always valuable. So a burned Latios has to go through 4 Pokemon.
Huh.
I don't think the Latios has any healing of its own, so I think
that burn
there's
is
some trouble here.
Yeah, it's just going to be a burn, if nothing else.
And there's the extreme speed from Zygarde, and LowKey takes the first match here. I don't know that I'd say I'm shocked, but Grif has been completely without losses thus far, and handed his first defeat at the hands of LowKey here.
And ill-timed to take that first defeat once you're in the bracket stages.
Absolutely. So I'm interested to see if there will be any adjustments. I know it's a bot, it's a bit of a gag, but if there will be any adjustments on dealing with the Sinistcha, that didn't look like it had much of an answer to it until Greninja came out with the Dark Pulse, so that might need to come out sooner next time.
But also that Sinistcha, if it does not come out early, if it's swapping in, it's a good place to leave it vulnerable.
That is true.
To an early attack, and if he's not farming Strength Sap, then Grif will have a better chance as well.
Yep. Let's see if either of them switch up their leads, and whether or not the result here is the same, as LowKey leads 1-0. Dragonite once more.
And Sinistcha once more. Sinistcha, sorry.
And here we are, Dragon Dance and Strength Sap, so I guess we'll see you in 10 turns when things change.
Oh, what? What's this? Another Strength Sap?
Another Dragon Dance.
Another Strength Sap?
And another Dragon Dance.
This is almost predictable. Strength Sap? Although I really would like to see a Shadow Ball or something out of the Sinistcha right now. Take clear advantage of the Dragonite before it gets its speed up to...
I thought you were rooting for Grif.
Right, but I also don't want to watch the same fight for 10 rounds.
I suppose that's true. I mean, ultimately, it would be in Grif's best interest to just do this forever, because he will win the War of Attrition and eventually will gain attack and can't lose it.
Correct. Oh, we're into 12 rounds. And the pattern remains the same. So this might be a... I will talk slower now in case we need to speed up the match.
Oh, goodness. I mean, it is what the bot thinks is the most appropriate tactic here. I guess we're just going to 18, which I think is the total of Strength Saps.
Yeah, and, as...
Sinistcha has stopped at 16.
But the much is ineffective.
Yes. Very... But the burn helps.
The burn on yes, burn does help. I guess Grif's just going to continue with the Dragon Dance on the Dragonite.
I mean, 4x speed, 2.5x attack. Oh.
Swap out.
There's that
Shadow
Shadow Ball
Balls.
you asked for.
Yeah, super effective right off there. Ooh.
Luster
Luster
Purge,
Purge, though.
very strong attack, but Sinistra able to take down Latias.
See how the guard shop handles this?
By missing a scale shot, apparently. And another swap. Grif is feeling the panic here.
And the melodic with super effective Machagacha, but at least no burn on this one.
It looks like Grif can see the end of his tournament in his eyes as he keeps on... Oh, finally calms down, puts the Toxic on the Sinistra.
Swap out to Gyarados at a good time.
Yeah, but he's still in trouble here. He's just swapping around kind of fruitlessly. Finally, a missed Machagacha.
Oh.
And LowKey swaps.
And now it becomes a different fight altogether, because at this point in the last match, Grif had already been down 2 or 3 Pokemon. Now we get to see a few battles before the Sinistra comes back out.
Indeed. So, Dragonite finished off by Basculegion, but Grif revenges with Garchomp. Firefang going to be very effective against Dhelmise, but with the reduced defense.
And less than half damage on that. Greninja out.
Oh, back out. No, that's not a good swap.
Boom. There's that Greninja that I'm so familiar with.
Gives the Greninja the boosts and loses the Sinistra. That's the one thing you don't want to bring Sinistra out against. But Milotic eats a Draco Meteor, so Grif down to 2 Pokemon.
Which did take out the Greninja last time.
Yeah. But at half strength, because Draco Meteor reduces special attack every time, it's not going to be quite enough.
Greninja still holding around with a Dark Pulse.
Time for an Extreme Speed, which will go faster than whatever Greninja chose. And Grif down to a single Pokemon against 4 from LowKey. Not sure about superpower into the flying terrestrialized Gyarados, but Zygarde down. Gyarados' Moxie starting to trigger. That could be dangerous. Terra flying into the grass type.
Super effective.
Oh no, a swap. LowKey now panicking.
Oh, and now here we are. Last, mano a mano, as it were.
Mano a mano. Who's faster? Gyarados is, and with
Gyarados.
3 attack boosts, Grif manages to pull out a victory from down 1 to 4. That was the end of his tournament was flashing before his eyes, and he managed to pull it out.
Yeah, and sometimes it is those Gen 1 Pokemons that you got to go back to.
Yep. I questioned Terra Blast on the set, but that is the only way you're going to get a good flying move on Gyarados. Yeah, it really worked out. Took down the 1 Pokemon it needed to in Dhelmise, and I thought it was over. But Grif has forced a match 3. So I think you were right in your analysis after the first game. The longer Sinistra is on the field, the better off LowKey is. The sooner she swaps that out, the more likely something goes awry.
Yep. And as we've seen with some of the attacks, when we're dealing with the dragon on dragon, it's who's ever getting that dragon attack out first is generally able to take out that Pokemon and give the team the advantage.
Yep.
But like we were saying in the pregame before either of the first 2 matches, it's going to be whichever team can just get out in front and avoid the untimely swap to avoid taking unnecessarily damage.
Very much so. So let's see in this rubber match who will advance in the tournament and who will be eliminated here in the top 8. Oh, a new lead from LowKey.
Oh, it is. And let's see what LowKey brings out now.
All right, and we're back to where we started. Dragonite is locked into Outrage. Yeah. Outrage forces 2 or 3 turns of use. So Sinistra has a chance to do a little setup of its own.
But I think Sinistra not taking advantage of the same strength sap could have been detrimental, but as we've seen, single use brings it back to full health.
Yep. And with the half-attack Dragonite, Grif is going to swap. Milotic taking the brunt of the Machagacha.
Yeah, that Machagacha has been the bane of the Milotic all day. Resisting it was the Dragonite, throwing a Dragon Dance out there.
Yeah, interesting to go this route. I guess just clearing off the minus attack that was already on. A critical hit, but not much damage.
Hopefully we're not locked back in the Dragon Dance Strength Sap routine. But
yeah, this I don't think goes LowKey's way.
Not this late in the fight.
But since Grif locked in Outrage, critical hit's going to be...
That Machigashi was ill-timed. I hate to say it.
Yeah, the crit is
just... that hour.
Yeah, absolutely. It changed the entire complexion of the fight. Basculation survives. I'm a little bit shocked by that, but the recoil move is going to kill it.
I legitimately thought that was going to be a 3-on-6 match, but able to take out that Dragonite, and then able to follow up and take out the Melodics real early. So this is turning into a much more competitive match than I thought it would be going in.
Absolutely. This is still anyone's game, especially with a missed scale shot. Anchor shot going to kill the Garchomp. Delma is still alive. There's the Latios, bringing it Grif up one Pokemon again. Goodra, still a big wall. Scald not going to do much but burn.
Burn
won't reduce the special attack, though, so it's all up to Zygarde.
Specializing into normal?
So it gets the extra damage on the extreme speed, but it also gets really badly hurt from Aura Sphere.
Right.
A Dragon Dance, that's risky at 4%, but Grif responds in kind! Superpower into Gyarados.
Just not enough. Unless Gyarados does something like a Dragon Dance. Nope.
Unfortunately, the Life Orb on Zygarde is going to be the end of LowKey's run. A very, very competitive match here. Grif barely managed to get through the second game. Won this one a little bit more easily, but
Never even saw the Greninja on the battlefield in this one, so...
Yeah, had a little bit of backup this time, but almost lost it in 2 and got swept out, but Grif does manage to pull through. Congratulations. We'll move on to the round of 4, and we will move on.
Continues to be undefeated in this tournament, but at this point, you kind of have to win out in order to keep playing, so...
Yes, you can't advance if you're not at this point.
Yep.
But has tasted his first defeat, so we will see if he can continue to do that. But here we have Artemis versus Flarolyn. You said you were going to be biased in both of the matches. Who are you biased towards here?
Well, obviously, my friendship with Flarolyn makes it almost impossible for me to root against her.
She's my wife. I'm not rooting against her either. I totally get you there. So Artemis, I apologize. You've got 2 commentators a little bit biased here, but I'm going to try to call it up the middle. Try not to root for anything. But
to be fair, Artemis has a team that I can get behind, and Pokemon that I have frequently used in my playthroughs of various Pokemon games. So I'm not against Artemis. I'm simply, rooting for Flarolyn to win the entire tournament. And I've picked Flarolyn to win the entire tournament since the moment I was unjustly knocked out of the Swiss rounds.
Unjustly? What do you mean unjustly? You lost 2 matches.
Yes, but I did it in a manner that makes everybody go, man, that should not have happened.
I agree. Your team did very well. Okay, 1 Pokemon of yours did very well, and everything else was not carrying the weight.
That is true.
Hawlucha's spine snapped trying to carry everything on its back.
To be fair, I think if I was allowed to have a leak on my Sirfetch'd, things would have been different, but I'm not going to complain about the rules that we obviously could not have negotiated. So...
Not going to complain, he says, as he complains. Okay, let's be fair to Artemis. Her team is actually really cool. Yes. I think her team might be the most balanced team in the tournament. It has healing, it has powerful offense, it has a strong defender, actually multiple strong defenders. It has some interesting hacks on its side in the Ironhead Jirachi. There is a little bit of everything on her team, and I wouldn't be surprised if it won, but let's see who plays it better.
Yeah.
Cresselia and Skeledirge, the two tanks, start out.
Yep. Skeledirge is, having seen Flarolyn's team in action, the Skeledirge is the Pokemon I most fear on her team.
I agree. It is almost impossible to kill, and it can ramp itself up with Torch Songs. Cresselia getting some really good luck with Moonblasts, dropping the special attack, but it's going to need to heal eventually, or switch.
I'm actually surprised at the efficiency of the Skeledirge in general, especially for it being one of a starter Pokemon in the series. But it's rather tanky here in competitive Pokemon.
Speaking of tanky, Tinkaton is as well and immune to the Dragon move, and Body Slam will paralyze but not do a lot of damage.
Jirachi is one of my favorite Pokemon on Artemis' team, so I am interested to see how it fares today.
Skeledirge immune to the Body Slam, good swap in there, and Torch Song is going to burn the hell out of Jirachi and boost Skeledirge, so...
Yeah.
Oh, Artemis going to start looking for the flinch hacks. It is a Serene Grace Jirachi, so there's an improved chance of the flinches happening, and they are coming fast and furious.
2 flinches in a row. But
3.
Jirachi does need to swap out. Its attacks are not that effective against Skeledirge.
Only 3 in a row gives Skeledirge a chance to slack off.
Yep.
And Skeledirge is back to full.
Yeah. I think Artemis needs a swap here just because I don't think the Jirachi can hold up against Skeledirge.
It's going to need like 6 flinches in a row to make it happen.
Right.
That's 3 more, so it's back to almost full. Like, this is kind of working. That's 4 in a row.
4 in a row?
She might need more than 6 unless there's some crits in here. And all of that is undone by a single slack off.
But flinch right off, coming off of the slack off. It's almost as if we're in a loop again.
We are finding some interesting loops, and the crit isn't even all that much, and a crit from Skeledirge.
A crit Torch Song is enough to take out the Jirachi, which is what I had feared would happen.
Flarolyn going to swap out of the...
Back into the Tinkaton.
Yep, immunes the Draco Meteor. Good move. Thunderwave going to paralyze Latias too.
Wait for that Tinkaton just to swap with a hammer and see what happens.
And everybody is paralyzed for a short while. Oh, there's the hammer.
Woohoo! I mean, Latias able to resist and remain standing.
Oh, Latias does have a healing move.
Follows with the roost. Ooh.
And a Surf is going to kill the Hisuian Arcanine from full. Yeah, no way Latias is faster while paralyzed and with the Speed Quark drive on Iron Valiant. Gardevoir, interestingly, can't trace Iron Valiant's ability, so instead traces Tinkaton's when it comes in. But swapping to Cresselia here... It will survive, and is probably faster. So it's going to heal up. But Cresselia not being the huge damage threat means Mimikyu is going to get very strong here.
Yep.
And Disguise makes the attack only deal 12% total, holds up the red card. Cresselia comes back in, but the pointed stones from the Stealth Rocks that Tinkaton set up earlier are going to kill it. Artemis in some trouble now.
Vile, one of my favorite Pokemon to use in story mode, as it were.
Triple Axle is a fun move, but Tinkaton just showing how much of a wall it can be. Leftovers finally knocked off, so that's going to remove her healing.
But that Tinkaton able to resist.
And bring down the hammer on Weavile.
Gardevoir taking damage from the stones.
Flarolyn going to swap to Victini, which is going to eat a super effective Shadow Ball. And a Shadow Sneak, but Gardevoir's attack not so good, so V-Create going to be able to finish that off and bring it down to a 1 versus 5 for Frostlass.
Yep.
Pointed Stone's going to make it so that the Focus Sash isn't going to work. But a Hex will kill Skeledirge, so one of Flarolyn's biggest threats off the table.
Iron Valiant with no Quark Drive, but it is super effective enough to
finish off. And Flarolyn will get the win. Disabled close combat doesn't really matter when all your opponent's Pokemon are dead.
Yep.
So, what did we learn there? Skeledirge is frightening. Tinkaton can smash the ice Pokemon with her hammer and really be a problem.
But the fire types do have a vulnerability in that Surf when it does come out.
Yes, that is true. Latias has a very powerful move there. Maybe her best counter to Flarolyn's fire.
And I don't think I've ever said this in a competitive match run by a bot, but I think Artemis simply needed a few more swaps in that first round, and could have been a different game.
Wow, asking for more swaps from the bot is an unusual request, but I see what you mean. The Jirachi was kind of destined to die unless it got a ridiculous amount of flinches, and Serene Grace is good, but it's not that good.
Worst part is it did get a ridiculous amount of flinches all in a row, but when it did not get a flinch, it allowed the restoration to happen, and then we're back to square one.
Yep, and then all we needed was a single Torch Song crit to end Jirachi, and yeah, I see what you mean. It would have been more useful to have something else out. But you don't want to swap an ice type into a Torch Song, that's for sure. So, alright, well, let's see if Artemis can even up the series here, or if Flarolyn will go 2-0. Cresselia once more, Skeledirge once more.
Torch Song coming out early.
Yep. Moonblast this time not getting the benefit of the drop, and a critical hit Torch Song already. And the first match Artemis got 2 drops on the Moonblasts, which really helped, but this time not so lucky.
Jirachi back out against the Skeledirge, we'll see, and one single Torch Song, unfortunately, is able to take it out.
No flinch, no Jirachi.
Weavile against Tinkaton, this is a matchup we've seen before.
And Tinkaton does pretty well into this. And by pretty well, I mean kills Weavile from full.
The Gigaton hammer.
Tinkaton's such an interesting Pokemon because it's got such a great supportive set, but Gigaton Hammer hits like a truck. So you don't need to invest a lot of offense for it to still be good. A Psyshock is going to bring Arcanine down to its berry, but Head Smash will finish off the Latias, and Flarolyn currently up by 4.
Gardevoir going up against the Cintiq.
Victini will V-Create again. Quite a powerful fire move, and Gardevoir, not known for its bulk, brings Artemis to her last Pokemon here. Ooh! Critical hit Hex! Frostlass came to fight.
Yeah, Frostlass terrorizing into Ice type as well.
Flare Bits, but a Sash will keep Frostlass alive, but not for long, as the extreme speed will kill Terastallized into solely Ice, so the Ghost typing will not be there. And Flarolyn gets the win 2-0 over Artemis, and will advance to face Grif in the next round. But this is actually a rematch as well from round 3 of Swiss, where Grif defeated Flarolyn. So that will be interesting to see if Flarolyn has gotten any new strategies to pull out, or if Grif will repeat his victory in the Swiss and move on yet again.
Yeah.
Congratulations to both Grif and Flarolyn in their victories here in the bracket stage. So, what did you think, Dutch? Too predictable, or?
I wouldn't say it's predictable, especially actually getting to watch those fights. Some interesting choices, some untimely swap outs in a couple of the situations, and again in the Jirachi situation, an untimely case of not swapping out.
Yes.
But
what I meant by predictable was if I said Dragon Dance, you would say.
Oh, I would say Strength Sap.
That's what I thought.
But I do look forward to having Artemis and LowKey joining me in the, let's say, not winners bracket, or not winners lounge, as opposed to the losers lounge. None of us are losers here in the friendly.
No.
But first round of drinks are on me, so come join us as in the observation boxes, as it were.
Very mighty wide of you, Dutch.
And we'll see who can take this tournament in the end.
Well, thank you so much for commentating with me on these two matches, and keep watching the rest of the matches, even if you're not in them. That's important.
It is important.
Dutch told me the only way he would watch one more of my videos is if he was in them. So
it's true. And if I could like it more than once, this would be the most liked of the matches in the tournament.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Of course, and thank you for allowing me to join you in commentary, especially in watching Grif advance into the next round, and of course to watch Flarolyn get a handed victory.
More than happy to have you, and all the rest of you stick around for the next round of the Friendly.